Praja's Urban Governance Index maps the status of democratic empowerment and accountability in urban governance in all states in the country. The index identifies essential reforms in the structure and powers of city governments, which will enable the functioning of local grassroots democratic system in the cities. The index is divided into 4 themes, which are then divided into 13 sub-themes. The sub-themes are further divided into a series of total 42 indicators. The first theme is empowered city elected representatives and legislative structure. This theme comprises of 4 sub-themes. Let us understand the sub-themes one by one. Sub-theme 1. Empowered Mayor. The mayor, being the head of the city government, needs to be empowered with executive authority and made responsible for the development of the city. Therefore, the sub-theme looks at mayor's term to be coterminous with the city government, executive authority over commissioner, authority to appoint chairperson of standing or subject committees, and mayor as the chairperson of apex committees. Sub-theme 2. Empowered Councillor. The councillor should be empowered with decision-making powers and given adequate resources to perform their duties. Therefore, the sub-theme looks at every councillor to be a member of at least one standing or subject committee, provision for regular training of councillors, and commensurate salary and office allowance. Sub-theme 3. Empowered Council. The council should not be just a deliberative body, but a legislative body. Therefore, the sub-theme looks at autonomy to frame bylaws and regulations, procedure for conduct and business rules formed, entitlement to immunities and privileges, provision for conducting municipal elections strictly before the expiry of its duration, and authority to pass no confidence motion against the mayor. Sub-theme 4. Deliberative Committees. To ensure the structured and decentralized deliberation, it is important to have a tiered deliberative structure. Therefore, the theme looks at the constitution of committees, provision for formation of apex committee, subject committee, zonal or ward committee, and district planning committee. Under the theme of empowered city elected representatives and legislative structure, the top 5 ranked states are Kerala, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Tripura, and Madhya Pradesh. The second theme of the UGI is Empowered City Administration. Let us understand this theme in detail. Sub-theme 1. Control and training of human resources for functions under city government. In order to develop a workforce that functions effectively and ensures efficient governance, this theme looks at the city government's authority to sanction recruitments and the existence of an autonomous body that recruits skilled municipal officials who can carry out their responsibilities satisfactorily. It also looks at the percentage of posts in the city administration that remain vacant and whether provisions are made for regular trainings to the administration. Sub-theme 2. Devolution and control of 18 functions mentioned in the 12th schedule. The 18 functions mentioned in the 12th schedule are of high importance and should be delivered through performing decentralized delivery of services. To ensure better coordination and execution of projects by the local government, all 18 functions and SPVs should be under independent control of city administration. This sub-theme looks at whether all these functions fall under the purview of the city government, and if not, how many of them do. The sub-theme also looks at how many of the functions involve a partial role of the city administration. A city government is considered empowered when the maximum number of functions from the 12th schedule are under its jurisdiction. Under the theme of empowered city administration, the top 5 ranked states are Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Odisha, Arunachal Pradesh, and Goa. In this video, let us understand the third theme of the UGI, that is, empowered citizens. This theme is further detailed into 4 sub-themes. Sub-theme 1. Accessible Open Data Portal. Data has gained enormous importance in today's world. Thus, this sub-theme looks at the provision of a freely accessible open data portal or tab on the city government website. This will enable the citizens to understand how their city government is performing and identify gaps or give feedback as required. Sub-theme 2. Right to elect mayor and recall elected city representatives. Citizens should be able to elect their representatives and hold them accountable for their actions and have the authority to remove them from office in case of any malpractices. Thus, this sub-theme looks at whether the citizens have a right to A. Elect the mayor and B. Recall an elected councillor. Sub-theme 3. Formal and active citizen consultative mechanism. It is important to establish transparency in governance. Therefore, this sub-theme looks at whether the minutes of the meetings of committees, including the council, are published on the city government's website. It also looks at whether area-level representatives other than the councillor are members of the wards or ward committee. These representatives can act as a link between the councillor and the local citizens from different areas. They can help represent the needs of the local citizens in the ward committee. Sub-theme 4. Active grievance redressal mechanism. The city government needs to have a system to solve citizens' grievances and take feedback from them, which will ensure efficient redressal of issues raised by the citizens. Therefore, this sub-theme looks at whether the city government website has a digital grievance redressal mechanism that enables the citizens to raise grievances. The GRM should be a centralized system that can process grievances registered through multiple modes like telephone numbers, website, or portal, etc. Each mode should have a single input point. Finally, the sub-theme points out that the registered complaint should be closed by the complainant themselves and not auto-closed by an official, which will ensure the complainant's final satisfaction. Under the theme of empowered citizens, the top 5 ranked states are Odisha, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, and Himachal Pradesh. The fourth theme of the UGI is fiscal empowerment. Let us understand this theme in detail. Sub-theme 1. Devolution of financial power. In order to ensure independent functioning and self-sufficiency, the city government should be empowered with independent authority to introduce new taxes and charges and also revise the existing rates of taxes and charges. It should also have the independent authority to prepare and approve its own budget. This budget must include the budgets of different parastatal agencies that are involved in its functioning. The city government must also hold authority to access market borrowings in order to be sustainable. Sub-theme 2. Systemic fiscal transfers. This sub-theme looks at whether the State Finance Commission has both the 5th SFC report and the action taken report of the latest SFC published on the official website. The sub-theme also looks at whether the city government has provisions to receive a direct percentage of the GST. Sub-theme 3. Financial accountability. The citizens have a right to know how the public money is being used for the development of the city. Thus, this theme looks at whether the State Municipal Act makes it mandatory to publish the budget and accounts and whether the government has published it on the website for the last 3 years. The indicator also looks at whether the State Municipal Act has provisions for conducting external audit. Under the theme of fiscal empowerment, the top 5 ranked states are Kerala, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Gujarat.